r/ProRevenge. Pretend you like me to get taken out on expensive dates. I'll trick you into paying. So this one might be a bit tame for this subreddit, but hopefully you guys still get a kick out of it. I am new to the subreddit and just Reddit in general, so I'd love to hear your feedback. Also gonna be a long one, so hold on to your butts. For context, my family is in a very fortunate position financially, and I would describe myself as upper middle class. This story happened a few years ago when I was at university. It was a fairly small university, so many of the students lived locally, in a generally very working class area. I also have a twin brother who goes to a different university nearby, who has a small part to play in this story. I had never really had much luck with dating due to having some pretty niche hobbies and interests, so it was hard to find people I can relate to and really click with, but I would always get on and remain friends with people if things didn't work out. I ended up dating a few girls on the uni netball team. They all seemed nice, but again, it was clear we were not a great match because I stayed on good terms with everyone. I ended up spending a lot of time around the people I had previously dated, but just as friends. Consequently, most people on the netball team were familiar with me. Enter the greedy girl, Gigi. She was a bit of an outlier in the team and didn't speak much, so nobody knew much about her. One day, she comes up to me and asks me out on a date. This was a nice surprise as I was normally the one asking, so I said yes, as I had no reason to dislike her at this point. After I say yes, we chat for a bit and she keeps trying to shoehorn into conversation the fact that she, like many others around here, doesn't have a lot of money. I didn't really think about it too much at the time, but in hindsight it was obvious. To keep the story short, I won't explain the dates. We went on 3 before I realized how greedy she was. All you guys need to know is that I paid for everything on every date, but I didn't mind doing this. We normally went out on weekends. One day I went to the library to get some work done. The desks have tall partitions between them for independent work, but whispering was still allowed in this area. Over the partition in front of me I hear Gigi's voice whispering to a friend. I begin to stand up to say hi, but stop myself to listen to their conversation just before my head emerged over the top. She was talking about me, calling me things like a posh dunt, but saying she was going to let me take her on a few more dates because I took her to fancy bars and bought her expensive drinks. I thought about it and realized that she had always gone for the most expensive drinks on our dates so far, so I decided it was time for some revenge. I left the library without being seen. A few days later I actually saw her driving a brand new BMW Z4. So she was clearly pretty damn rich herself. The best and fanciest bar in this town was owned by my best friend and her family. It was a small bar, but very high end, with some of the drinks being over £15 for a very small drink. Therefore, not many of the students went in, but if you were invited there on a date, it was a special one. I spoke to my friend, whose family owned the bar, and got her in on my plan for revenge, ensuring she would have my back if things went wrong. I was pretty paranoid about getting caught, because I planned on tricking Gigi into paying for everything that night, up to a total of the cost of all the previous dates combined, in excess of £250. To cover my tracks, I asked my twin brother if he wanted to go out with my friends to the pub, telling him my plan and that I would give him some money if he went out dressed like me and with his hair styled the same. I also told him to take plenty of pictures with my friends so I had an alibi. The night of the date came around. The bar was busy but we managed to get a table. I immediately lied to her, saying I had forgotten my card, but if she paid I could transfer her the money later. She agreed. I had done this for real on the second date, and paid her back as soon as I got home. So she knew I was reliable. I told her to stay sat down and save the table, while I went and ordered drinks and the biggest and fanciest tapas plate on the menu from the bar. My friend, pretending she didn't know me, as agreed, served me the drinks. Gigi seemed to be in disbelief of my generosity and pretended that she was having one of the best dates of her life. I also pretended to be enjoying it, continuing to buy expensive food and drink until I had nearly spent the target's £250 on her card. The dessert section of the bar's menu is titled just desserts. Finding this oddly appropriate for my revenge, I asked her if she wanted her just desserts. pointing at the menu. She laughed and said yes. So I went up to the bar once again with her card and ordered 2 of the super deluxe chocolate fudge cakes. I told my friend to keep one for herself for when her shift ends, and if they could write "duck you" on top of Gigi's. The bar has candles with letters on for birthdays, etc. I then returned to Gigi, handed her card back, and told her I was going to the gents bathroom. I left, never repaid the money, and went to join my mates and brother at the pub. Gigi confronted me in front of the netball team a few days later, but I just acted confused, telling her I was out with my friends that night, and showed her the selfies my brother had taken with my mates when she tried to argue with me. The entire netball team took my side and stopped speaking to her. Gigi has since left the netball team, and from what I can tell, I don't think she has many friends now. I had a fantastic night of revenge with fine food and drink at her expense. My friend got a fudge cake, my brother got some money, and all the lads got to go to the pub. All in all, I found it super satisfying, as everyone but Gigi was happy. Hope you enjoyed, guys, and sorry it was a long one. Don't duck with Sergeant Jesse. This is a story about my father's deceased friend, Jesse. Jesse died before Reddit, but he told me this story and I thought I'd share it. Sergeant Jesse was a black man, about 5 feet 2 but with a really wiry build. Total dynamo of a guy. Sergeant Jesse came back from Vietnam in E7 and was placed in command of a group of white soldiers who were led by a bunch of E6 good ole boys who couldn't handle having a black man give them orders. Jesse didn't care. He just did his job. One day, Sergeant Jesse bought his wife a new Cadillac with white wall tires, and he drove it on base's first day to get his DoD window sticker. The car was parked in their company's parking lot where all the NCOs parked, and much to his surprise when he returned, all 4 tires were slashed. The E6s were all curious and asked, "What are you gonna do?" It could have been anybody. Are we going to question the whole company about your wife's tires? BTW, how are you getting home? Snicker/chuckle. The only thing they didn't say was boy, but it was understood that they thought he was going to have to either raise a huge ruckus and become a distraction to command right as he just got there, thus diminishing his reputation, or just eat this and keep on going. Jesse didn't play that shit. He just said, "I'm not going to look for who did this. He is going to come to me." As first sergeant, Sergeant Jesse could authorize field training exercises and PT at his discretion. He called the company to order and told them they were going on field training exercises immediately. They were ordered to grab only their GI issued gear and to be prepared to overnight for several days. Then he walked them out into the woods for about 10 miles and told them to set up their tents. After they constructed the more permanent tent with the wooden floor and the portable stove for him, he posted a guard at his door, lit a fire in the stove and went to sleep. Did I mention it was December and that everyone else was sleeping on the ground in pup tents with no heat? So the exercises began. Jesse ran them like rented mules for 2 days through those woods. Long morning and evening runs, push-ups, pull-ups, lunges, digging latrine trenches in frozen ground. You know, team building, camaraderie inspiring torturous bullshit. After 2 days one of the E6s showed up with 2 black eyes, looking like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. As Jesse would say, apparently overnight the company pulled a code red on his ass and beat on him until he agreed to confess, because they were damn tired of living in the woods in winter. Jesse docked the man's pay and made him replace the tires, but didn't file charges against him because he thought he had paid illy enough. And more importantly, Jesse had made his point for everybody on base to see. Don't duck with Sergeant Jesse. Don't become irate over $45. I was renting a condo from a guy who at first didn't seem too bad. I am in the military and he was flexible on when I could move in and hours he would show me the place. I was there for about a year and had to break the contract early due to new orders and the military sending me out of the city I was in, which in the US is mandatory for all landlords' rental agency. I moved out of the place over a month ago now, and as we agreed upon, he would deduct a cleaning service and the last month's electric bill. So I get about $135 less from my security deposit. No problem. End of story. But this morning I get a text message from him saying he needs $45 more for last month's bills. I'm at work so I see and quickly respond that we agreed to the $135 and I'm not just going to give him more. I'm busy at work, mind you. And he gets back to me with screenshots of the invoice for the bills and requests the money on Venmo. About 10 minutes of me not responding because I'm busy, he proceeds to send several text messages saying fine be that way and I should have kept the security deposit to GI blah blah blah. The one text that actually got under my skin was I can't wait until companies look your rental history up. I'm going to strike you for non-payment of last month's rent. That's going on your credit report. All these texts came in under an hour after my first response. Well, once I finally checked my phone I surprised and quickly upset. I'm not a liar and have always paid my debts. So I take my lunch break to send screenshots to the condominium board property agency to report him for harassment. And the woman who was working is amazing. She was disgusted with his attitude and we talk about my stay at the residence. I mentioned the floors were warped and in the kitchen as was pretty bad in particular. So this is her idea really, but she then emails me the city laws on landlord-tenant relations and building code. So far I have filed 2 different complaints with the city. One on him as a landlord and human being. And being I'm already out of the area, don't know if it'll go anywhere. That second report is now going to a city inspector to survey the condo on keeping up proper flooring. Which to be honest I should have reported to someone while I was there, but I'm a busy easygoing guy who didn't want to take the time to start a formal inquiry and have to possibly move out for repairs. He in all likelihood will have to replace a good amount of floor space and spend way more money. If someone owes you $45, at least give them a little while to get you the money. It may save you more than just what's owed. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking mad lad. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.